the bagpipes play Scotland the Brave. Here comes the Highlander. Here comes the brave Scot. And another star of the Contender Asia Series, Sean Wright. Hammer, a very likeable fighter, Sean Wright, and a quality Muaythai stylist. You gotta love a man who wears a cape, and you gotta love the preacher, Bruce Macfie. Australia's most experienced Muay Thai fighter. Over 100 fights. And have a look at him, Hammer. He looks like he is ready to fly here tonight. The preacher, Bruce Macfie.
Well, the preacher, Bruce Macfie, probably, again, having a chat with him last night at the weigh-in. Not the best lead up to a fight. A few personal things on his plate, Macfie. But he is certainly here in front of this capacity crowd to once again be the crowd pleaser. Tell you what, Michael, Sean Wright's trainer Andy, a great fighter in his own right, and he's had some absolute wars. And he's now based at Lana Muay Thai in Chiang Mai.
We are ready to rock and roll. First round of 5, Scotland versus Australia. Sean Wright and the preacher, Bruce Macfie. Michael Chavello, Mark Castanini with your ringside. And preacher opens up strong. After his time in the Contender Asia house, we called him Brute Macfie because he came out of that experience with a whole lot more brutal fight style, did the preacher. And he is showing it here in the early get-go against the Scotsman, Sean Wright. Punch the bagpipes out of him, Hammer. Outside thigh kick from Wright. Uppercut elbow from Wright. They tango in front of our commentary position. Little knee to the liver section there from the preach. And the Murph separates both men back to centre ring.
Also, I'll tell you what, Bruce looking surprisingly on in this first round. His hands are very sharp. I know it's just the early stages of this battle, but he's putting it together very nicely indeed, Macfie.
Trade of jabs. It was Sean who drew the short straw. Leads out with the right cross as Macfie fires a front kick to the midsection. Looking for the inside thigh there, Sean Wright. Nice jab from the Scotsman. Rocked the head back of the Aussie. And Macfie locks him up, drills a knee to the midsection. Sean Wright returns the favour.
All right, boys.
Bit of a wrestle, bit of a grapple, and the Murph breaks him.
Of course, in the Contender house, they're on the same team, these two, but they're certainly on different opposing sides of the ring here tonight.
Double jab from Wright. Overhand right from Wright. That doesn't quite sound right, Hammer. Just caught that kick on the forearms. And he tries to sweep out the support leg, but Preacher maintains his vertical base. Uppercut elbow from the Preach. 1-2 combination. Couldn't get past the double guard of Sean Wright. Good evasion from Wright, just slipping the punch from Preacher off the right cross. Digs away to the liver section under the right elbow of Preacher. And the left hook falling short for the Australian. Final stages of the opening round. We are set for 5.
Of course, they both battled with the eventual winner, Muaythai on the Contender. Preacher going the distance. Sean Wright, well, he had a harder time in the ring against Muaythai. And Preacher, obviously, after that fight with Muaythai, told us, you know, he now realises he's at the upper levels of the weight division, so no one is really going to intimidate him anymore, and that resolve is what he's carried forward with him since.
Into the midsection from Preacher, shrugs off Wright. Nice cross from the Scotsman in the blue. A little bit of swelling under the right eye here of Sean Wright, nothing that'll really bother him, but it's courtesy of the left jab of Preacher.
Since leaving the Contender series, Sean Wright's been very busy indeed, fighting in all over Thailand, and they've really stepped up the training for this one. Andy was telling me last night, so they've been doing up to 12 rounds, as we mentioned earlier, and really pushing the cardio out for Sean Wright because he has a tendency to fade in the latter rounds. Again, just looking at Preacher's very crisp combinations, and his hands and feet combinations are working very well for him indeed, Preacher, tonight. The big trade of jabs saw Sean Wright coming up a little bit short, but there is nothing in this one, and trust me, Michael, when I tell you, as this one settles, Sean Wright hopefully will consolidate, but Preacher is looking on tonight.
Second round set for 5. A close one in the first round, and once again Preacher opens up like a house of fire. Wright trying to sweep out the support leg there, couldn't get him down. Inside thigh kick from the Preach. Nice high knee to the upper right rib cage from Preacher. It was always going to be a very close contest on paper between these two, and it is proving that in centering. Another trade of jabs. Outside thigh kick from Wright. Drops the body shot. Gets on the inside of the right hand of Preacher. Flicks the body shot off the lead hand. Shot to the junk, but he's okay to go on here. Sean Wright pops a little uppercut, the Scotsman.
Come on, mate, let's go on. Drop.
Fires the front kick. A lot of action here in the second round. No, neither man is yet to land a real power salvo.
Come on, boys, let's go, huh?
And the Murph making sure the action keeps flowing in centre end.
Well, boys, I tell you, Sean Wright absolutely lives and breathes it, and he knows this opportunity here tonight is his chance to put on a good showing in front of the huge Brisbane crowd, and hopefully be invited back again to war with some other fighters in the very busy middleweight division here.
He breathes it. He just inhaled a beautiful uppercut from Preacher. Did Sean Wright. Outside thigh kick from the Preach. Front kick to the midsection. Oh, he led with the right cross, and Preacher didn't expect it. Good work there from Sean Wright.
It's a right cross, and then followed it up nicely with a left hook on the end of it.
Nothing getting through the forearms guard. Trying to fold Preacher in half like a piano accordion with the knee. Advances towards his corner. Dennis Brett giving instructions to Preach. Overhand elbow from Sean Wright. Preacher returns the favour. Looking for that Van Gogh technique, trying to take his ear off. Uppercut elbow. Both men crossing the elbows. And look at the smile on Sean's face. Saying, you want to go elbow for elbow? I'll trade with you, son.
Absolutely loving it. Both of these men with the elbow war happening in centre ring.
All locked up again in front of our commentary position. And the Murph breaks them. So the elbows coming into play here in the second round of 5. And it's good to see both men stacking the combinations like a supermarket shelf. Outside thigh kick from Sean Wright. And again, Preacher checks it. Good uppercut, left hook from the Scotsman.
Starting to get his groove now is Sean Wright. Preacher needs not to become complacent, because any opening, and the cagey Scotsman will certainly take full advantage of it.
Turning left hand again. Preacher's got to be careful not to drop that right arm. 2 rounds down, 3 rounds remaining. Wow, Hammer, I tell you what, we have got a real contest on our hands. The first round was a feeling out process, but there in the second round, they decided to trade elbows with each other.
All right, boys, let's go. Seconds out.
Scotland versus Australia. Still not a definitive lead for
boys,
either one of these men. They touch gloves, third round of 5. Good right hand from Preacher. Sweat just flew off the brow of Wright. Overhand right from the Scotsman. Gut-munching knee, belly button through the back. And he throws Preach to the canvas. That was after the referee seemed to have called break. Looks for the liver shot to Sean Wright. There's the elbow from the Scotsman. He is looking to turn the midsection of Preacher into haggis. Outside thigh kick from the Preach. Turning left hand from Sean Wright. Inside thigh kick. The Preach backing him up, but he couldn't score with the clean punch. Hammer, I feel that Sean Wright is getting stronger, and the Preach seems to be slowing down a little.
I'm not going to disagree with you at all with that one, Michael. I think you're a little bit on the money there. Sean Wright, I'm just having a look at his fitness level, because these are the rounds that he will fade in normally. So if you can keep the intensity up, keep the fitness happening, nice takedown, that's going to be building his confidence. And he's a big event fighter, and he'll rise to the occasion, certainly, Sean Wright.
Knee from the Preach, backs him into the blue corner. Wright turns him around. And the Murph brings it back to centre end. Dennis Brett just saying to Preacher, throw the jab, then the right elbow. Walks into a stiff left hand.
Again with that step forward elbow rather than Preacher. Not getting enough drive on it though. That's where he's that's where he's having some shots that are paying dividends. The high low, up, down, and that's where he's getting some score on.
Sean Wright more kick than a chorus line here in the third round, just tenderising that lead leg of the Preach. And again to the quadricep area. Nice stiff jab. Right hand outside thigh kick, good combination work here from Sean Wright.
Well,
and this will be registering on the judges' scorecard.
Yeah, his timing is on. And, you know, I was fortunate enough to get invited into the Contender house and see the boys working out. And Sean Wright, he's very focused fighter. You know, he lives and breathes it. And he's absolutely dedicated to the sport and his training. Nothing takes his resolve away. He doesn't go out partying, none of that. He just basically lives to train.
Sean Wright has done everything right here in the third round. Preacher wears another right hand. Wright goes upstairs looking for the decapitator. Preacher returns the favour. The Scotsman goes back downstairs, shoots that jab again. It's stiffer than a box of Viagra. They tango against the ropes.
I don't think it's the box of Viagra that gets stiff.
All right, break. Come on, let's go, boys.
Final stages of the third of 5, and we go to the towels. A good scoring round there for the Scotsman Hammer. He scored more than being backstage at a Rolling Stones concert.
Just kept the rapid fire hand and leg work happening. He got the shot on Preacher down low with the legs more times than Preacher could answer. So if it's a point-for-point scoring bout, it was certainly Sean Wright with the rapid fire low kicks that got the edge there on the judges' scorecard. So the Scotsman is looking very strong indeed.
All right, boys, round 4.
Fourth round of 5. Macfie has opened up every round strongly. He faded a little in the third. And will we see Brute Macfie unload here in the penultimate round? Fires the front kick. Turning left hand. Oh, big smack bang on the kisser. Sean Wright has used that cross, an absolute treat. Drops the left to the midsection. Again with the cross. Off the right hand. Outside thigh kick that works so well for him in the third. Double jab from the Scotsman. Turning hook.
Have a look at that. He's got some great balk work with his upper body, Sean Wright, too. Just leans forward but then rolls back out of range. Preacher needs to get him on the ropes like this and isolate the target and then go and launch his attacks.
And that was really nice there in the grapple, how Sean just snuck out the back
boys,
door.
turn around, come on, let's fire up.
As Preacher had him all clinched up. Crossing elbow from Wright, snappy jab from the Preach.
Straight up the guard.
Big overhand elbow, looking for the big bok choy. Not getting through though. Turning left hook.
One thing I have seen on Sean Wright is he leans off to his left a lot. Now if Preacher picks up on that and perhaps throws a right hook, he may have some luck with that.
Hammer Preacher may be cut here. There's a lot of blood on the hairline of Preacher. He may be cut on the top of the head.
Well, a hairline cut's not going to really affect the battle if it's on the eye line or somewhere that's going to really open up. The hairline.
Break.
I think they'll vass it up and that one should be okay.
Sean Wright, a small cut under his right eye. The Preacher's definitely cut on the cranium. Step up elbow from Brute Macfie. Trade of jab. Swings wildly with the hook, does the Aussie.
But again, that's that balk and evasion work of Sean Wright that's starting to come into its own now. He's just taking the target ever so gently out of range from the Preacher's attacks.
And Sean Wright almost offering his chin to the Preach, but Macfie unable to capitalise. Uppercut elbow.
Big trade of elbows.
There's the right hand from Macfie.
He's cut. Macfie's cut over the left eye. That's a big cut.
Blood is dripping from above the left eye. This one could be over soon.
That's a cut. That cut will stop this fight.
Maybe the Murph hasn't seen it, or maybe he's just letting it go on here, Brian Murphy.
No, he hasn't seen it. The Murph, I don't believe, he's been offsided. But when Preacher turns and is on the same side as the Murphy with that cut. You can bet he's going to stop it and let the doc have a look at it. That's a bad cut.
Sean's
That's
going
a bad
after
cut.
it. That could be all over for Preacher. As soon as the referee spots it, the blood will run into that left eye. It will impair his vision. And let's take a look in the corner now of the Preacher as they go to work on that cut. Have a look at this.
Yeah, that is a very deep gash. Dennis Brett just getting straight into that now and going to work on that cut. That is a bad cut, and you can bet $1 to $1,000,000 that Sean Wright is going to certainly be unloading with his right hand and right elbow now to try and get a finisher on that one.
Well, question is here, will Bruce Macfie be able to go on? Look at the Vaseline that they've caked at the top of that left eye. But the question remains, even if he can go on here for one more round, how long will it take for Sean Wright to pry open that cut again?
3 minutes, eh? Let's go.
I bet he's going to go, and that's probably a little bit too much mass on that cut. But nevertheless, the Preacher looks to be back on the job, and now the Preacher knows he's got to take care of business very quickly indeed and not allow that cut to get attacked at all.
I'll tell you one thing about the Preacher, Bruce Macfie, you can never write him off. And he is going to slug it out until he can't go any further here. Outside thigh kick from Wright.
Well, he certainly he's had over 100 fights, Bruce Macfie, and he's endured some absolute wars, and this is certainly going to be one that is going to be classified as that on his record, that's for sure.
He's going to have one hell of a scar after tonight as gulps of Vaseline just fly off his eyebrow every time Sean Wright tags him. Uppercut elbow from the Scotsman. Preacher throws a crossing elbow off the right arm, snaps out the jab. Jab 2, 3, 4 from the Preach. Good combination work from the Aussie, but he still can't find that clean shot and just gets upended with a solid leg kick.
Well, I tell you what, Sean Wright has certainly proven that he's got what it takes to perhaps get another invitation back to fight yet again on the Evolution card.
Uppercut from Preach, step up elbow. Desperately looking for the opening. All he needs is a minute opening, Preacher, and he'll capitalise. But Sean Wright just isn't giving it to him. And here the corner of Preacher screaming for him to throw the elbows. They want Sean Wright to bleed, and look at the evasion.
You know,
Sean Wright proving harder to catch than Osama bin Laden here in the final round, Hammer.
Well, the only problem with Preacher throwing elbows is that's going to put him in elbow range. You can throw an elbow, but then you're totally in range for your opponent to throw one straight back at you. And tell you what, any slip of concentration and another elbow landing on that cut, and it will be stopped this fight.
You've got to wonder, a lot of personal problems affecting his life coming into this fight for the Preacher. We can't delve too much into it, but I wonder how it affected his preparation for tonight. You've got to wonder if this was Preacher at 100%, both emotionally and physically, Hammer.
Well, certainly, I'd say people have challenges in their lives, and sometimes it does detract from the job at hand. But once you step in centre ring, you've got to leave your troubles at the door.
Preacher slugging it out to the final bell here. Look at the bobbing and weaving, the slipping on the inside from Sean Wright. Crossing elbow again from the Scotsman. Cracks away to the liver with a kick, and still Bruce Macfie comes forward. The never say die attitude of Bruce Macfie. Australia's most experienced Muay Thai fighter. He's been cut wide open. He's taken more battering than a piece of flake, but he is still going here, Macfie, and a standing ovation after 5 epic rounds of action.
Well, I tell you what, Wright, and have a look at that Tesla scrunch. Sean Wright doing the old, I've still got plenty. I've won this one and I've still got plenty. In his mind, Sean Wright has done enough. Bruce Macfie was throwing a lot, certainly. A lot of it was taken on the guard of Sean Wright, a very tight guard. He had the double forearm guard happening. Macfie was unloading, caught him with some big elbows, but Sean Wright, ironclad, defense. Preacher, constant work rate. It's just a matter of scoring work rate, and the defense perhaps of Sean Wright tonight might be enough for him to get the victory here, that's for sure.
The judges' scorecard is in with a unanimous decision to the blue corner.
Never a doubt about it. Great sportsmanship there in centering. A lot of respect between the Preach and Sean Wright, but tonight belongs to the Scotsman.